learners, how are you doing? I hope you're all keeping safe at home. Today, we are going to start our first lesson of Unit 1, which is The Road to Independence on page 1 of your textbook. Let us see what are we going to learn in this unit. We are going to learn how trade and colonization influenced the life of the people in the islands of the Indian Ocean. We will also learn about the abolition of slavery and its impact, about world wars in the 20th century and their impacts, and finally we will study some important events in Mauritius which ultimately led to its independence in 1968. So let's get started. In this unit, there are 4 topics, namely trade and colonization, Mauritian population, world wars and their impact on Mauritius, the struggle for independence. For today, we're going to start with topic 1, that is trade and colonization. At the end of today's lesson, you will be able to recall that Mauritius was colonized by the Europeans as from the 17th century. You will be able to define colonization and understand the motives of colonization. Before proceeding, let us do a quick recap on what you have learned in grade 7. Let us carry out an activity. You learned that the Europeans were the first to discover a new sea route to the east. Why were the Europeans interested in discovering a new sea route to the east? Which Portuguese explorer discovered the sea route to the east? Why did the British and the French come to the Indian Ocean? Which countries colonized Mauritius? Why was Mauritius important for the Europeans? Let us find out the answers. The Europeans were interested in spices, silk, cotton, and other valuable goods. Vasco da Gama discovered a new sea route to the east. The French and the British came to the Indian Ocean for trade and colonization. The Dutch, French, and the British colonized Mauritius. Mauritius was used as a stopover by the Europeans. You now recall about how Mauritius was a European colony in the past. Let us now find out what is colonization and what were the motives for colonization. What is colonization? Colonization is the process of taking control over another country and ruling it. For example, the Dutch, the French, and the British respectively colonized our island. The Dutch colonized our island in the 17th century. After the departure of the Dutch, the French took possession of the island and began a settlement here. The French colonization of our island, which they had named Île-de-France, lasted till 1810. The British captured Île-de-France from the French in 1810. The British renamed the island Mauritius. A few people from Britain came to settle in Mauritius. The British colonization of Mauritius came to an end in 1968. Now let us have a look on page 5 of your textbook. It shows a map. Try to complete activity 1.2. Let us check the answers. Portugal colonized countries in Asia and Africa in the east, while in the west, Spain colonized the New World. The Americas were known as New World. Why do you think the Europeans colonized other countries? Let us have a look at the motives for colonization. You may have a look in your book on page 6 to 7, or you may follow the slides. Trade was an important factor that led Europeans to colonize other countries. What is trade according to you? Why were the Europeans interested in trade? Which goods were they trading? Trade is the buying and selling of goods and services in exchange for money. Apart from trade, there were other reasons why the Europeans wanted to colonize some countries. The motives outlined in your book are as follows: economic, new territories, strategic, resources, missionary. Let us study them one by one. Colonization for economic growth. Do you have any idea what this motive can be? Yes. As you might have guessed, the Europeans took raw materials, exploited minerals and other resources from their colonies. They were also selling the manufactured goods to the people in the colonies, which provided great wealth to them. The second motive for colonization was the acquisition of new territories. The Europeans wanted to become more powerful, and they conquered many countries to increase their territory. Having larger territories meant more power. Some countries were conquered because of their strategic importance. The geographical location of the colony made it important in terms of war and trade. For example, Mauritius has a strategic location in the Indian Ocean, and this is why the European countries were fighting to colonize it. The colonies had a lot of resources like silk, porcelain, wood, or spices that could make the colonizing country richer. Hence, the Europeans wanted to colonize more and more countries to increase their resources. Lastly, the Europeans believed that it was their duty to spread Christianity in other countries of the world. They thought that by doing so, they were helping to civilize the rest of the world. In this lesson, you have learned about the Europeans in the Indian Ocean, trade and colonization, motives for colonization. So that's all for today. Hope to see you soon. Till then, goodbye and take care.